Hey everybody, welcome back. So, today's session was the type of session that if I was not committed to doing 90 days in a row of this thing, I would have taken it off. Just one of those days where really bad session, just not really bad session, but like just mentally I've been dealing with a migraine and this kind of cold. I have everyone else in the family is sick right now. My wife's sick, my kid's sick, and I take my kid to the doctor today. And it just turned into just kind of a day of just hecticness and again, just not feeling good, right? And so if I was not doing this every single day, I would just have taken today-ish off. Probably yesterday too, to be honest. And even though I got that short story done, I would have taken today off. So I kind of stuck it out, but the writing was kind of blah. There were some good insights. There were some things that some sort of progress I've made now in the novel because I showed up today, which is important. But more than likely, I would have taken a day off. And even though I'm kind of the write every day sort of person, I don't demonize taking time off. I'm never one to sort of demonize taking a little bit of time away from the keyboard, especially on days when you're sick and you're not feeling it and your heart's not really in it and you're just kind of going through the motions. It can be challenging for those that kind of like myself, like in some ways where if you miss, a couple days, suddenly it'll turn into a week without writing. We all know those type of writers. I'm sure a lot of us are those sort of writers. So it can be a bit challenging. It can be sort of risky thing to take time away, but you're human. Remember that you are human. And I think it can be very strategically smart to take time off in a limited sense. When you're sick, when you're not feeling it, take the holidays off, whatever, to kind of take those days kind of sprinkled in between just so you can move forward as a writer. I took I took over a year off from writing consistently back when I had my kid last year. And yeah, I was still doing some writing. I was still doing some sporadic writing, but it wasn't great. It was not consistent at all. It was when I was feeling like it, and I was not so tired because my kid was maybe not waking up 3 times a night, at least, in those early weeks. Maybe a bit more rested, and I'd show up at the keyboard, do a bit of writing. And yeah, the being inconsistent led to really bad writing. But the thing to keep in mind, and this for anyone that's like thinking about maybe getting back into writing, or you're kind of worried about taking time off, the writing forgives. And the writing forgives pretty quickly. Over a year of not writing consistently, and suddenly I don't know if anyone basically has noticed this, but I mean, I've talked about it, that in less than a month, I was already back to probably the same level of skill in my writing that I had before. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn quick. You can miss a year, and like in about a month or so of being really consistent, you can kind of get back in the saddle. That's a lot. That is, I mean, you don't see that in other avenues. I don't know how many people could not train at a sport for a year, then in a month get back to the same level they were at before they didn't train. I'm a personal trainer, right? So imagine taking a year off from the gym and thinking that you can get all your gains, all your muscle, all that size back in and lose all that fat you put on from 1 year of not training. Imagine thinking you could get all that, get back to your fittest state in 1 month. Pretty crazy, right? With writing, it came back. It did. The writing is back. And what I would say is for anyone out there is to remember that. Like, really remember that the writing will forgive you. The writing will come back. It could be years, and you could come back to it, and you can still pick up eventually where you left off. The writing's waiting for you. The writing will forgive. The skill doesn't just magically disappear. And so don't be afraid of even taking those few days. Don't beat yourself up don't beat yourself up basically because you took a day off or a couple weeks off or whatever, or a month or two, or even, a year, right? A year, multiple years. Who cares? You'll get it back. You're worried about kind of a small bump in the road here. The biggest mistake you can make is not using that skill. And that's like the gravest sin I remember seeing back when I was going for my MFA. Is I remember graduating, and of the people that were in my graduating class that got their MFAs, at least the majority are not writing consistently anymore. At least the majority. A lot of them didn't even get. I mean, a lot of them sought traditional publication, and are not interested in doing like self publishing and all that stuff. So a lot of them didn't even get their books have not even appeared, which is fine. That's an issue with the publication process itself. That is an issue with how they want their work to one day be shown. So that's not nothing to blame anyone for. But they aren't writing consistently. There's not a second book waiting. There's not another book waiting. They're not tinkering even with that first one. They simply get the degree and life gets in the way and they stop writing. And so remember, it's getting back into it is the important thing eventually. And you're back in that saddle pretty quick. You are back to your kind of old ways pretty fast. It's pretty remarkable. It's very, very remarkable. So I guess with that, I'll leave it right here with that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better. But yeah, have yourself a great night, everybody. And again, I'll see you guys tomorrow.